What I'm holding here in my hands is called the most dangerous book in the world out there. And the knowledge inside this book is so potent it got banned in many prisons. And I've read it, so you don't have to. And inside this book you will find 48 laws of power. And they will teach you how to manipulate people and how to get an advantage in life. And this book is getting quoted by many rich and powerful people out there. But in my opinion, this is not a reason why you should read it. The real reason why you need to read this book is that you know if you're getting manipulated or not. Because this happens more than you know. And you've probably been manipulated by one law of this book here. So in this video, we're going through all 48 laws of power in this book. And we will rank them. From this is genuinely good advice to this is genuinely trash advice, and you are a dog if you use it. Because this knowledge in this book won't just protect you, it will give you an edge in human experience. So, law number 1, never outshine your master. So if you got someone more powerful than you, then according to this book, you should never outshine them. So show your talents, but don't go beyond that. Just stay below your master, your boss, or your teacher, or someone who has more power than you. So if you outshine your master, if you're better than him at something, then his ego will be attacked and he will see you as a competition. So this one is a bit strange, sounds abstract, but is totally true. So I'd say it's an A tier. And law number 2, never trust your friends so much and learn how to use your enemies. The first time I read this law, I understood nothing, but I understand it now. For example, you start a company, you're successful, and you hire your friend as an employee. But if you say your friend something that he didn't do good, then he will see himself as an equal and feels attacked personally. Or with enemies or former employees, the relationship is just clearer. He is your employee and you're the boss. And they will work for money and not for your emotions, like your friends do, for example. But in my opinion, if you got friends who got envious just because you're more successful than them, then they were never your real friend. So this is an A tier. Law number 3, conceal your intention. If nobody knows what you exactly want, nobody can attack you. And this book argues you should never say your intentions loud. And this is a bit immoral, but it's clearly effective. And I know it good because it got used to me. For example, a stranger asks you about a company or a product you work with, and within weeks, this product got exactly copied by a competitor. And after that I understood it, because it was never about exchange, it was just about gathering information systematically. So this law is effective. So I would say it's a D tier, but you're a dog if you use it. Law number 4, always say less than necessary. So silence comes often as intelligent and powerful, according to this book. And this ties also in the previous law. I was someone who liked to play with open cards, who liked to talk, who liked to explain what I did and how I did it. And as you heard it before, it got abused. And nowadays I'm someone who talks less, purely out of self-protection, especially around strangers. So there's real truth to it. So it's an A tier. Law number 5. Defend your reputation with your life. So your reputation always goes ahead of yourself, and it will open many doors for you. And this is 100% true, especially online. So repetition is everything. This is an S tier. Law number 6. Court attention at all costs. So what's invisible doesn't exist, and bad attention is better than no attention. And if I learned something through my whole 12, 15 or how long I'm doing this years, this is 100% true. Because I started with very cringy and stupid videos on YouTube, and it got me there where I am right now. And attention is super important nowadays, yeah, that's true. But you don't have to be an internet clown or some cringe dude out there. And honestly, that is even better than not being known for anything. So genuinely, this is good advice. It's A tier. Law number 7. Get others to do the work, but take the credit. This is basically what every company or any CEO does. So if you're at the top of any structure or organization, you're the one who taking all of the credit. Not especially because you do all of the work. You're mostly doing less work than the other ones behind you. But you're taking all of the credit. So that's just a fact, nothing really special. So it's A tier. Law number 8. Make people come to you. So make others move to your schedule, not the other way around. And I wouldn't understand it earlier, but if you don't respect your own time, and other people will also don't respect your time, and they will say, let's do this and this at this and this time. And you will always say yes. So it's good advice, it's A tier. Law number 9. Win through your action and never through your argument. This just basically describes that arguing is pointless. If you win something by arguing, you're still lost. Because if you won this battle, the other person won't like you, so you lost the person. So this is also A tier. Law number 10. Avoid the unlucky and unhappy ones. And you know these people, this chronically unhappy one, the one who don't get anything done in their life, who always gets involved in dramas. You have to stay away from these people, even if they are your close friends. And in my opinion, this is completely true. And I often try to help these people, to get them better, to help them anything out. And if I'm honest, they don't want your help. They don't want any help. They're just unhappily in their life. And you can't help them. It's almost like they're enjoying their problems. And it's good for them. Let them be unhappy for the rest of their life. And stay really far away from them. Because they will drag you into more stress, and their problems will become your problem. So absolutely true, this is S tier. Law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Because as long as other people need you, you're safe. Don't make yourself replaceable. In my opinion, it's common sense, but in this job market today, it's a good advice. So A tier. Law number 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your opponent. The theory here is that one sincere gesture naturalizes a lot of bad deeds. And I wish that weren't true, but it is. So how often do you see some content creators or influencers out there doing a lot of bad stuff, and then doing one charity stream, for example, or doing something good once after 5 bad things, and the internet completely forgets it? A lot of people use this online because it actually works, but it's immoral. And if you're a good person, you don't need that. So it's C tier. Law number 13. If you're asking for help, appear to self-interest. And this book here argues that most people won't help you out of generosity, or the percentage of the people who does this is very tiny, and that far more people help you if they get something back. And this is common sense for me, but it's actually good advice. So A tier. Law number 14. Pose a friend and act as a spy. So this book says use casual conversations and small talk to gather and extract all of the information of your enemy. This whole information gathering thing, doing this behind someone's back, is in my eyes really disgusting. You're a dog if you do this. So it's a D tier. Law number 15. Crush your enemy totally. So apparently you should fully destroy your enemy, never letting them health stay, because otherwise he will build himself up again and want revenge. And truly for myself, I can't relate to this because I don't have so much enemies, and I really don't know how many enemies this guy had who wrote this book, but I think it's good advice. So it's C tier. Law number 16. Use absence to increase honor and respect. So this book means strategic absence raises your status, that you shouldn't be available and visible for everyone. So I personally don't know about this because I mostly turn down every events or invitations I got. So it's a C tier, I would say. Law number 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Too much predictability makes you readable. And if you're unpredictable, others waste energy to read you. So this law is like never let them know your next move meme. You know this one, like, yeah, I'm doing something differently now. You know what I mean. This is solid advice, but I actually don't love it that much. So it's a B tier. Law number 18 is to don't build a fortress because isolation is dangerous. So this book says you should always be alone and integrate yourself into society. And nowadays this is extremely important in my opinion, because nowadays there are a lot of people who just log in, going monk mode and something else, and they think they will barricade themselves in a room until they make $1 million, for example, and don't come out. But you can still do hard things, be productive, and still enjoy life, still be around people. And you should always do this. And nowadays it becomes a trend to isolate yourself because it's dangerous, mysterious, and it's cool, bro, if you do this. But it's not, trust me. I was there, and it's one of the worst things in my life I did. And not only for your mental health, also for your head. And for your other vital factors too. So, this is genuinely good advice. It's an A tier. Law number 18. Know who you're dealing with. Don't offend the wrong person. This is especially true in the drug scene. If you fuck with one, you're getting fucked. So, it's A tier. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone. This book says to never pick a side that you can't be used as a tool. For example, Queen Elizabeth, who apparently never married someone and therefore never formed an alliance with some other countries. So if you're a queen or a king in any country, this is maybe good advice for you. For everyone else, it's bullshit. So it's in D tier. Law number 21 is to play a sucker to catch a sucker. This argues you should act dumber than you think. So your opponent puts down his cards and shows you everything, gives you all the information. So it works, and maybe there's some advantage you get from this, but it also falls in the category like you're a dog if you do this. So it's actually in D tier. 22. Use surrender tactic. So if you're losing, admit to it. It's common sense. For example, if you play Monopoly and you lose, just be a man and stand there. And don't try to explain why you lost and everything. So yeah, it's a B tier. Law number 23. Concentrate your forces. So this book says to pull all your energy into one specific thing, so it will actually move. And in this distracted world, it's especially true because no one can nowadays concentrate and be focused on one specific thing for more than 2 weeks. So this is actually good advice. So it's an S tier. Law number 24. Play the perfect courtier. In hierarchies, it's not the loudest who wins. It's the one who understands everything. It basically just means to learn to have some good social skills so that other people don't see it, that you obviously want to take advantage of this person in front of you. So it's genuinely good advice and common sense in my eyes. So it's a B tier. Law number 25. Recreate yourself. So never let others define who you are. Just work on yourself, work hard on yourself, and tell them and show them who you actually are. And this makes sense. And after all, we only got one first impression to make. And if this flops, then it's very hard to make yourself up again. And people will judge us anyway, so we might just try to steer it in a way we want that they see us. So this is very important, and in my eyes, it's an A tier. Law number 26. Keep your hands clean. So this book argues you should let the other people do the dirty work and keep your hands clean. So this is also what any company does. For example, if you don't like the product you bought, you just go to the cashier and say you want to complain, you want to get your money back, etc., etc. And the people at the cash desk, they will handle the situation, and you as a CEO will have your hands clean from that. So it's nothing earth-shattering in my opinion. So it's in B tier. Law number 27. Play on people's need to believe. So if you're communicating a vision or a mission, people will just follow you. It's just like the basic build a culture thing. For example, everyone who subscribes to this channel wants to get a better life and build a better future. So in my opinion, if you want to build a community, this is actually good advice. So it's an A tier. Law number 28. Enter action with boldness. So hesitation looks weak and gets punished immediately. And the one who just starts earns the respect. And this is 100% true. So many people do this, especially the young ones. And the biggest risk you can take is to take no risk. So what's the worst that can happen? So this law is S tier. Law number 29. Plan all the way to the end. So half plans fail on detail. And if you plan everything to the end, you will succeed. But nowadays the world changes so fast and it's impossible to plan everything in every detail until the end. So it's just not a good law. In my opinion, it's a B tier. Law number 30. Make your accomplishment sound effortless. The book says if you do something and it is super exhausting, you should definitely look that you made it look easy. because that makes you look talented and more capable of anything. And then when someone wants to try to copy you, then he will realize that it was hard, and then he will think, oh, how did he do it so easily? And then he will conclude that you are built differently. I'm still a fan of communicating everything authentically, and I think authenticity will win, so it's in B tier. Law number 31, control the options. You should always give the illusion to people that they have different options, but the options you choose is exactly what you want. For example, if you want to go into a restaurant and I feel like I want to go to sushi and to burger restaurant, then I will give you a choice to choose between sushi or burger. So I can't really relate to this. So it's in B tier. Law number 32. Play to people's fantasy. You will always convince people emotionally first and then logically. And the book says, sell the dream first and then the actual thing. And think about social media. How much of this, I just made 800,000K in 2 days, buy my course in the link in the bio. How many of the people that actually saw this bought a course that didn't bring them anything? How many people you know get super rich in 2 days? It's impossible, because the people want fast money and they will buy the dream, not actual thing. On social media it works very well, and if you use this, you're a dog. And if you bought a course to get super rich, bro, fuck off. Why? Why you want fast money? Why does it have to be fast? Maybe I will do a separate video on that, because forget it, it's actual trash advice. So it's D tier. So now law number 33, discover everyone's weakness. So this book says everyone has a weakness and you need to find it out to get an advantage from your opponent. And I think this is really deep, because if I meet someone new or someone else, I don't think what's his weakness, how can I abuse it? So you're a dog if you use this. So it's actually D tier, it's stupid. I mean, yeah, the world we live in is really destroyed. It's ruled by different companies out there, but that's a different story. Even if I can say something, I wouldn't say something. Law number 34, be royal with your own fashion. This book says whoever behaves as a king will get treated as a king. So I used to let the lot slide with me, and back then it was who I am. And nowadays I don't let anything slide away with me, anything. For example, if someone comes rude to me, I'm rude to him too. So it's a good character trait. So it's actually A tier. Law number 35, master the art of timing. And in its core, it's basically just saying, be patient. And being patient in this fast-paced world with social media, TikTok, everything, trying to be rich in 2 days. Being patient is one of the good laws there, and you should learn to be patient. So it's an S tier. Law number 36, disdain things you can't own. And this is an interesting one. If you can't have something that you actually want, act like you don't actually want it. And a lot of people do this unconsciously. And for example, they try something, they see it's hard, and then they ignore it, and then they ignore it and hate everyone because they can't have it. For example, this day trading life or something else. So if you can't just have something, you just can't ignore it. And in my opinion, it's an even bigger play than hating it. So it's B tier. Law number 37, create compelling spectacles. Here is that logos, big events, theater, and big shows always convince people than logic. And it's 100% true. If you, for example, if you set something up that looks amazing, looks special, and you will convince more people than with logic. So it's a B tier. Law number 38, think as you like and behave like others do. So this book argues that you have to adapt yourself to society and don't argue every single point you have and you disagree with others. And in my opinion, it's a very good advice. So it's A tier. Law number 39, stir up the water to catch a fish. So this book argues that you have to throw off your opponent off the balance, that he says what he thinks, because they only do this when they're emotional. So I don't know, I wouldn't do this, so it's in D tier for me. Law number 40, despite the free lunch. If something is free, it always has a hidden price, and it's dependency. And I didn't get this for a long time, but now I get it. For example, when a buddy helps me with something, I rather pay him something or invite him to something to pay it back in some way, and not being in his debt, because then in some situation he will ask me to do something I don't want to do and I'm in his debt and I have to do it. So it's actually good advice. So it's B tier. Law number 41. Avoid stepping in great man's shoes. This book just says that you don't have to copy or never ever copy someone who's well famous than you, has more power than you, because people will notice that you copy the other person and they will think that you're just a copy and you will never outperform the original one. And this is 100% true. And on social media, a lot of people do this and this never actually works. So it's S tier. Law number 42. Strike a shepherd and the sheep will scatter. And this book just basically says, if you want to dominate a group, for example, find the leader, remove him from the group, then the other people are lost and then they don't know what to do, and then you can take over the leadership. If I'm honest, I can't relate to this, but it's good advice, it's not good advice. I would say it's a B tier. Law number 43. Work on the heart, then the mind. And this book argues that you have to convince someone emotionally first and then rationally. And this is pretty much the first principle in selling something. So you sell something emotionally and then justify the purchase rationally. And it's the oldest trick in selling. So it's actually good advice. And I would say it's A tier. Law number 44. Disarm the mirror effect. So this book says you should do what the other person next to you does. So for example, if he speaks in a way, if he argues, if he uses his hands in a way, you should mirror him. You should mirror your opponent, that it firstly puts him out of balance and he's confused. And it's kind of a weird manipulating nuance, and I never used it, maybe sometime, and I don't think it's necessary, so it's in C tier. Law number 45. Preach change and never too much at once. So this book says people want change, but they don't want to change them too much. It's a very abstract law. I don't think it's useful so much, but I would say it's in B tier. Law number 46. Never approach too perfect. So this book argues that you should never present yourself as perfect, that you should communicate your insecurities, show some things that you're not so proud of. And I try to do this on social media. I always try and tell you what it actually is and what my insecurities are. And if I understood this book right, then you should do everything against what the other's law said you should do. So this means I should say what my insecurities are, that other people can use it. So I'm not sure if this is now good or bad, but I was always a person of honesty. I'm always someone who likes to be honest, to tell you how it is to be in that situation right now. And I would say this law, I would say it's B tier. Law 47. Do not go past that mark you aimed for. So this book says you should not get greedy when you achieved, for example, when you get money, you should not get greedy and want more, because the luck will change the other way around. And this is actually good advice. So I would say A tier. And with that, we come to law number 48. Assume formlessness. So rigid structures always get attacked. You have to be adaptable. So being adaptable in this fast-paced world is an advantage to other people, because you're not focused on one structure, on one idea. You can still pivot, you can still have other ideas. So I would say the last law is actually an S tier. So in my opinion, some of the laws are perfect, you can use them. Some of them are immoral and can cause you more problems and more harm than you think. For example, this trading advice, or nowadays this LARPing, this LARPing community, where and I need to tell you this. I mean, you saw this already. There are people out there that selling you prompts for ChatGPT, where you put your face in and AI will generate you an image where you're standing in front of a Lambo, where you're sitting in a Lambo, where you have lots of money. I mean, bro, how desperate do you really need to be to, first of all, buy something like this? Second of all, create AI images of you for the first moment, it looks cool. Yeah, okay, you have a Lambo. But it never really happened. It's embarrassing what we're doing, guys. You need to stop with that. The whole LARPing community, the fake it till you make it, it works. Don't get me wrong, I know it. I know it from the music industry. Fake it till you make it. It definitely works. But it will get you nowhere, trust me. So by the way, if you like this format, I am trying to read more books and trying to make more videos of famous books, of books that actually improved myself. So if you want to see that, or any book that you think that might be helpful for you, me, or the community, hit it down in the comments. And as for that, guys, thank you for watching, and we see us next week.